Single moms are not happy because they're losing a tax break while billionaires are gaining a tax break. Watch.
So now Republicans are talking about getting rid of the head of household tax filing status so that they can pay for all the tax cuts that they want for all their billionaire friends. Yeah, that means that if you're a single parent, you won't be allowed to file head of household anymore, which means you're going to lose that tax credit that you normally get, that tax break that you get. A tax break that has been around since the 1950s. Because back in the 1950s, it was believed that single-parent households should have a lighter tax burden. But because rich people apparently need more tax breaks, single parents like myself, who's a teacher raising 2 children on my own with a deadbeat father who doesn't pay an ounce of child support, will now have to pay more in taxes so that some rich mother can have a yacht. And you people voted for this.
Yep. So when Trump and Elon were out there saying they're going to be fighting for the little guy, by little guy, they meant for themselves. Now watch as Nancy Mace tries to distract.
The gentlelady has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Let
It's disgusting.
let the gentleman state his parliamentary inquiry.
to me, a slur is a slur. And here in the committee, a level of decorum requires us to try consciously to avoid slurs. You just heard the gentlelady actually actively, robustly repeat it. And I would just ask the chairman that she be counseled that we ought not to be engaged. We can have debate and policy discussion without offending human beings who are our fellow citizens.
That's Representative Nancy Mace, who is obsessed with transgender people and obsessed, I guess, with being mean. But why are they doing this? Let's see why.
They want us to believe that the reason we can't pay for our health insurance, the reason we can't cover rent, the reason kids are dying on the streets due to gun violence, the reason there's so much wealth inequality and that so many people live paycheck to paycheck is because of the immigrant, or because of the trans person, or because of your neighbor. They lied. It's because of corrupt billionaires like Elon Musk and corporations, not our fellow working people.
That's Representative Maxwell Frost nailing it. They're trying to distract by saying the fault of you guys not doing well economically is because of immigrants, it's because of transgender people, and it's because of your neighbors. It has nothing to do with billionaires wanting to get rich. Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with the fact that over the past 20, 30 years, the distance, the inequality between the lowest income people to the highest income people has just multiplied by thousands and thousands of percents. It has nothing to do with the fact that there's a guy, Elon Musk, who's worth over $200 billion, who somehow is getting a lot of access to the government. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the fact that Elon Musk is getting contracts for his company for his companies, I should say, from the federal government. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with the fact that billionaires just want to pay less taxes, that corporations have been paying less taxes. It has nothing to do with that. It's all the fault of transgender people. That's what they want you to think. That's how dumb they think you are. First of all, let's talk about transgender people. Let's talk about immigrants. Let's talk about DEI. Let's talk about all that stuff. The percentage of transgender people in this country is a lot less than these people Nancy Mace would have you believe. It's like the biggest issue for her. She's really into pushing this stuff because these are cultural wars. How dare these people be transgender? It's a cultural thing. So the people get angry and they go, oh, these transgenders, and then, oh, these immigrants, and then, oh, this DEI. Meanwhile, these tax breaks that are supposed to trickle down and help people like that first lady that you saw who was a single mother, they don't trickle down. You know what companies do when they get more money? They buy back more of their stock. You know what billionaires do when they get more money? They buy yachts. Check it out. Jeff Bezos, Google it. Jeff Bezos has like a $500 million yacht or some crazy expensive yacht. And capitalism is good, but you need to limit the amount of wealth that one person can accrue and then avoid paying taxes. Donald Trump famously said, He goes, I avoided paying taxes. That makes me smart. So he's this guy who's a multimillionaire, now a billionaire, and he's saying, I avoided paying taxes. That makes me smart. Meanwhile, that single mother is going to get her tax breaks cut. She needs the tax breaks. We need to supply certain programs for certain people. This administration, as soon as they came in, they started cutting. Doge. They call it Doge, the Department of Government Oversight or something, or something, whatever. Doge. It's called Doge, and Elon Musk is in charge of it. They've been cutting stuff left and right. They cut U.S. aid, which is a way that America actually helps eradicate diseases and helps around the world, which, by the way, could come back and haunt us if we're not continuing to lead in things like that. They wanted to, famously, the first week, they cut a bunch of government-funded programs, and people rebelled, and then they took that back. So they're trying to cut programs. They're trying to cut things that help people who need the help. Why? Because they want to cut the expenses of the federal government. They want to impose taxes on China and Canada and Mexico and tell you that these tariffs, I should say, these tariffs are bringing in income to the federal government. Therefore, they're trying to trick people and say, so once we have money coming in from the tariffs and we're bringing down our expenses, now we've made room for these tax breaks that we want to give the billionaires. And by the way, they don't say we're giving billionaires tax breaks. They say we're giving everybody tax breaks. But what happens is it's the corporations that end up paying a lot less taxes, and the tax breaks that were given to individuals before are about to expire. So eventually the individual who's not a billionaire gets screwed. But they want to do all that so that they can bamboozle us into thinking that they're paying for that tax break. And then when they give themselves a tax break, they go, oh, look, all this money's coming in. We cut the expenses. So why shouldn't corporations start paying instead of what was before 2017, it was like 30-something%. Then it became 20-something%. Why shouldn't corporations pay 10%, 5%? They shouldn't pay anything. Why should? Because they're going to create jobs and they shouldn't pay anything. Again, don't get me wrong. It's not a black and white issue. I'm not saying tax corporations at 90% so that they can't do anything, but we do need to have these billionaires pay their fair share. Warren Buffett famously said, he said, I pay a lower tax bracket than my assistant does because he makes his money off of capital gains, off of stocks, off of being an owner of these companies. Meanwhile, his assistant is a wage worker who gets wages and pays taxes, like most of us. We get our money, we pay the taxes. We don't avoid the taxes. You know how billionaires avoid taxes, by the way? Jeff Bezos famously gave himself something like an $80,000 a year salary. Meanwhile, he's worth hundreds of billions of dollars. So when he wants to go buy something, he goes and gets a loan and says, look, I'm worth all this stuff. Give me that loan so I can go buy this, $500 million yacht. And then he gets that $500 million yacht, and in order to pay the interest on it, he goes to another bank, gets another loan, and they just keep playing this game where they move the chips around. Elon Musk bought his way into the government. He spent $250 million plus on the election to get Donald Trump elected, and now he's in, for all intents and purposes, he's number two in this. Whatever happened to J.D. Vance? I haven't seen J.D. Have you seen J.D. Vance? I have not seen J.D. Vance. All I see is Elon Musk. Why isn't J.D. Vance in charge of Doge or helping a government become more efficient? Why isn't J.D. Vance? Because Elon Musk bought his way into it. By the way, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, all these tech billionaires, they bought J.D. Vance's way into the vice presidency. Look it up. Peter Thiel actually funded J.D. Vance's senatorial run in Ohio, which brought him to the forefront because he'd been in the tech industry as well, brought him to the forefront, and then these guys lobbied to get J.D. Vance in, so it's all nice and copacetic. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, paying more taxes while billionaires pay less taxes. I feel very bad for that single mother. I feel very bad for what these people are doing. I feel very bad for anybody who's going to be hurt with some of the things that are coming down the pike. So keep your eyes and ears open. And if you have a phone number to your senator or to your representative, call them and tell them, oh, hell no, not on my watch. You don't give tax breaks to billionaires while you're taking away my ability to maybe get myself up on my feet. They keep saying you got to pull yourselves up by the bootstraps, but then they keep taking the straps away. So you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps because they're making it harder and harder. So what's it going to be, folks? Are billionaires just going to keep getting richer and we're going to sit by and watch? Or are we going to make our voices heard? I say go with the latter, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, place a call. Let your senators, let your Congress members know that we're not going to stand for this because MAGA is trying to bamboozle you. You're not losing your job because of transgender people or immigrants or DEI. You're losing your jobs because they're cutting back. They're trying to cut back. They're trying to get rid of workers. They're famously telling a bunch of government workers to quit. Why? Because they want to, first of all, decrease the number of the workers, but also they want to instill loyalists who'll do whatever they want. It's a crazy time, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. Watch it. Check it out. Leave a comment. Tell me you found it from this video. Also, I'm on tour. You can go to mazjobrani.com. Find me on tour. Come check it out. We'll see you there. And hopefully you get some tax breaks and you can use that tax break money to come get some laughs.